Let's start with the Mariners. They take 2 out of 3 against the Astros. The Mariners have owned the Astros this season, 9-2 against Houston so far, with 2 games remaining in the series in September. They came very close to going 10-1 in the series. Had Andres Munoz been able to close out Friday's game before Christian Walker walked it off with a 3-run homer, and you're watching that game and you're just like, Munoz just pitched so well. And the fact that he had this thing locked in, and I mean, honestly, struck out 2 guys like they're just staring at this win right away. But that close, man. I mean, I think Mariners. I think you made a great point. The fact that people have been looking for the keys of what's going to be the turnaround for this season, and it wasn't just one key or one home run. It's entire team play, and I think we saw a lot of that this weekend. We did. And going back to Munoz, though, we actually had a friend in our newsroom from WFAA in Dallas, and so she was watching the game along with me and said, "Is this what Andre Munoz does all the time?" I'm like, "No, far from it. He is a lights-out pitcher and has been for most of this season." So it's actually quite uncharacteristic to see him just blow that lead at the end. Gave up 5 runs in 1 inning, and that was really uncharacteristic of Munoz. It's funny because when I'm watching him take the mound, when he goes out there and he's got the lead, even though he has struggled to hit speed bumps at different times this season, when I see him take the hill, I'm like, yeah, you feel at ease. Yeah, you do. It doesn't matter if he struggled the outing before. You just feel like, man, when Andre is on the mound, he's going to slam the door shut. And like I said, that close to slamming the door shut in that one. All right, we've been talking about the AL West and the fact the Astros and Rangers both have weaknesses, just too many to show any signs of pulling away at the top of the division. That's why, we feel like the Mariners are always going to be in the hunt. Yeah, you mentioned those 2 games in September. I just really quickly, before we get to these standings, I have to say, those are going to probably determine the division winner by the end of it, especially because it's I think it's the second to last series of the entire season. Can you imagine if it's coming down to like 1 or 2 games between the Mariners and the Astros? Those 2 games here in Seattle is going to be so vital. Yeah, I mean, the way the American League is set up and the way this division is set up, it very well could come down to those 2 games. We had Astros insider Adam Salane on the show last week leading into the series. He wasn't concerned about Astros pitching because everybody's made a big deal about the Astros starters and they're never going to go far because they don't have the starting pitching. He was more concerned about whether they had the hitting and the offense to get the job done down the stretch. And after watching the weekend series, you could see why. I mean, when they went to the plate, Christian Walker's walk-off Friday was like, okay, he clobbered that pitch, but it's like anybody else. When you talk about consistency in any sport, so what? You had a big hit one day. What are you going to do the next day? What's the next thing you're going to do? It's kind of that, what have you done for me lately? And that Astros lineup, as you could see in games on Saturday and Sunday, they've got some power, but they don't have any consistency. Yeah, boy, what a get-right lineup to go up against if you're Brian Wu, because, he's obviously been struggling on the road. Had that great outing in the Bronx against the Yankees, but honestly, he probably was relishing the opportunity to go up against these guys who really couldn't hit anything. Yeah. He only gave up 2 runs on 3 hits. A really solid outing for Brian. Yeah, I want to talk about Brian Wu and the outings he's had, but, we talk about some of the players, and we're always talking about the managers in the American League. Well, USA Today's Bob Nightingale thinks it's a make the playoffs or bust for manager Dan Wilson. He writes, Seattle Mariners manager Dan Wilson is expected to be fired if the Mariners miss the playoffs. Well, you sit there as a Mariners fan, you're reading that, it's like, oh, it's not like breaking news or anything. You feel like, the Astros manager has the same deal. It's like these guys, the MLB has become more of a win-now league in recent years than it has been ever in the past, and people don't have the patience anymore. So I think it's smart to let Dan Wilson ride this thing out and see how far they can go. And if they don't make the playoffs, I think even Dan Wilson would walk into DePoto's office after the season's over and say, I know what's coming. Yeah, and that's the thing is I agree with the sentiment that that's probably what will happen. If they don't make the playoffs, he probably will be fired. But should he be? I'm not so sure. He took over for Scott Service in 2024, gave them a really good end of that season, and then last year had one of the best seasons in Mariners history as the manager. I don't see that a lot of his decision-making has really led to a lot of these losses, especially, the piggyback seems like it was 8,000 years ago, but that was probably the only time that I really thought it was like him and like his decision-making that was causing some of these blunders.
I think it's just the players got to play, and they're not.
Yeah, well, maybe, like we talked about, maybe this weekend series where the guys did start to play and they got a nice little injection of talent. But you brought up Brian Wu and his road struggles. They've been well documented. He has performed well, though, in his last 2 road games, last week in the Bronx and yesterday in Houston. And, that's another guy who I'm watching him pitch, even when he's on the road. And I feel like when he throws that fastball and he's got guys striking out guys early in the game, I feel like, oh, man, this dude is on. And somewhere on the road, there's always something just goes awry with this guy, and he can't quite finish the job. But, man, his last 2 outings, who knows? Maybe he has gotten over that road hump.
Yeah, last year, I would say the second half of last year, I think he was the guy. He became their ace last year, and that's even having a Logan Gilbert ahead of him. And then, so going into spring training, we were like, well, is it going to be Brian Wu? Is he going to be the guy that really kind of shines for this team? And obviously, it really hasn't been his year, but it's not like he can't get there, right? Like, we saw that. So we knew he had it in him. He just had to have some good outings to make him feel right on the road. At home, he's a whole different story. Okay. But now I think that we saw that. I do think we could see the second half that we saw from Brian Wu last year.
Yeah, no, listen, I don't have any reason to doubt that. I mean, this whole roads record at the start of this season, the first half of the season, is a head scratcher for all of us, I think, that follow Mariners baseball. Like, there's no way, of all the problems this team has had, there's no way Brian Wu wasn't going to right the ship, before the batters and the offense on this team. So Brock Rodden, I got to shout out to that guy.
Favorite.
I know we both want to talk about him. MLB debut on Friday. His first 3 major league games in his career, he hit 300, had 2 doubles, drove in 3 runs. I love that his parents. I love when these guys get their debut and the parents and the family are all there, friends. Anybody who's within shouting distance is going to show up.
It's such a beautiful thing. And I have to say, actually, last week on Wednesday, I was at the Rainiers game. And I'm sitting there with some of my friends. We all kind of work in the sports industry. And someone's like, Brock Rodden. Like, I don't know who this guy, like, I don't hear that guy in, like, the Mariners talk and everything like that. He goes and rips a double. And then all of a sudden, like, we're talking about this guy right there on Wednesday. Next day or 2 days later, he's called up to the show for his debut. And so it was a really kind of cool experience to, like, see him with the Rainiers a couple days earlier, then see him there. And he's hitting. Like, this is not just a rookie luck thing. Like, he's hitting.
Yeah, he's been fun to watch. All right, let's turn our attention to the Seahawks real quick. Lost their preseason opener to the Cowboys 17-7. A couple of stars stand out. You know, when you talk about preseason games, there's always a few guys that have great stories. It's not a lock that they're going to make the final roster, but it's interesting every week to see, as these preseason games get going, who gets to step up. And Montorie Foster Jr., touchdown against the Cowboys, and one of the great stories of the preseason so far.
Yeah, he's honestly been the talk of camp, even leading into this first preseason game. And, every season on Hard Knocks, there's always one guy they love to focus on and kind of show you, like, the whole story behind him. It's going to be Montorie Foster, especially this week, after this preseason game. I think he's playing great. I hope that he is able to get waived, pick back up for the practice squad, when he probably gets waived. But otherwise, he's probably going to be a wide receiver on someone else's team. Yeah, well, he's definitely going to be a star on Hard Knocks, I think, this week. Episode 3 coming up tomorrow night. Devin Witherspoon, the other guy who really grabbed the headlines over the weekend when he agreed to a new contract, $101 million guaranteed, $33 million per year, makes him the highest paid cornerback in NFL history, at least for a few more days. Who knows what Christian Gonzalez is going to get with the Patriots. Head coach Mike McDonald has made it clear Witherspoon is one of his favorite players, and he's happy the contract is signed and sealed.
Spoon is all the things. He's a great person. He's a great football player. He's a great teammate. He's a great leader. Those are the guys we want to be here. It's kind of similar to Jack's. It's like these are foundational people to our team, and I'm extremely excited to get that foundation laid. Where we know Spoon's going to be here for the long haul, and we're also excited for the opportunity to reward him.
So my favorite thing in the game that I saw on the sidelines, Spoon is hanging with JSN and he's hanging with Derek Hall, and together they're doing like this money signs and everything like that. And the 3 of them are combined. They just all made $433 million between the 3 of them this past offseason. So that's a lot of money just being around in one circle.
And I just love the fact they just held themselves. They're like, yeah, it's there. I know you guys know how much I make now, so why not have a little fun with it?
So. Yeah, he even had a huge gold chain that he debuted last night, or in the Saturday game. It says like MOB, but it's a big nugget. Good for you, man.
Good
right?
for you.